Hey everyone. Okay, so today I'm talking about the KB home loan, KBHS loan provider. So if you purchase a house with KB Homes and you're thinking about going with their loan provider, which they obviously want you to do, I just wanted to share some information on what my thoughts are as someone who has gone with KB home loan service, and if I recommend them. So I'm going to tell you my backstory first and kind of let you know what led to my decision. And I think that'll kind of have this make more sense, because it's kind of difficult for me to give a yes or no response, especially because it really seems like with KB, there's not enough information out there about the home loan, their service provider. Like, you can't really get many reviews on them, which is odd to me. You can't get any information on the actual person that you talk to, like the loan originator. There's really not a lot of information about that particular person. It's kind of like when they come into a community, I feel like maybe they're new. I don't feel like they've been with KB for a long time and they have much experience. I just really feel like it's all fresh to them and they're learning as well. So they don't really have all the information, which is odd. Okay, so let me start at the beginning. When we decided to purchase a home, okay, we didn't know we were going to go with KB. We got our loan approval and we decided we were going to go with a mortgage broker because we wanted to have that person give us all of our options instead of going with any one bank that had a very cookie cutter list of services that they could offer you. We wanted to go to a broker who could give us all our options so that we knew that we were getting the best deal, and we could really get the best offer for our credit, because our credit wasn't super great. It was just on the verge of good, not quite fair, but I think we had just hit like the good mark. And we had a referral from our real estate agent for this woman, and her brokerage office had really amazing reviews. So we went with her and we had a great approval. We were able to put down, or we were prepared to put down 20% so that we didn't have to go with an FHA, so that we could avoid the insurance. Okay. I'm going to try to talk fast because it's like a lot of information. I don't want this to end up being an hour-long video. Okay. So we knew what we wanted. We wanted conventional. We did not want FHA to avoid the extra fee for the insurance, the mortgage insurance. We had our 20% down, yada, yada, yada. We were set to go with them, even though when we went with KB, when we decided we would purchase with KB, they really, 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 really wanted you to use their loan provider. They wanted you to go with their in-house service provider. Like, we were really annoyed actually when we first purchased, because from the time that we went in to have the meeting and we signed and they ran our information, even though we had pre-approval, we had pre-approval for a conventional loan. We could not get conventional approval with their service. They kept saying, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for conventional, but we can get you started with an FHA. And we were like, that's not what we want. No, thank you. No. Okay, well, see, I don't see that you can get an FHA. So, we don't see that you can get a conventional. So we're going to have to get more proof that you're going to be approved. So then we had to go through like a couple extra steps just to make sure, I guess KB knew for sure that we had the funds, we were capable of getting a loan, securing a loan. So I forget what it was. We had to do the direct underwriting, which was very, very, it was more thorough. We didn't need that if we would have just purchased a home, but going with KB and building new, they wanted the direct underwriting approval first before we were able to sign to purchase. if that makes sense. Okay. So we had to go through that. When we were in the office, I don't recall her saying that we had to do that. So it was kind of a shock that we had to do that. Okay. So even before, we're not even going with their loan services. And we're already like, oh my gosh, how annoying. Like, we don't want to go with them. Like, we're doing the right thing by having our own people. And we felt like it was a good thing to have our own brokerage that had no relation to KB, so that they had our best interests in mind, instead of we're purchasing with KB and we're getting a loan through KB. So they're like double benefiting from us. No, we had our own real estate agent. We were going to have our own mortgage broker. And we felt like we were smart in going into it and knowing exactly what to do. Okay, well then coronavirus happened. Everything shut down. My husband was out of work for a little over a month. We were biting our nails and very scared. And on top of this, the interest rates were going down. However, the lenders were raising their minimum credit score. So we no longer approved for a conventional loan. Now we were stuck with FHA, even though we had the same credit score that got us approved for conventional in, I want to say we even confirmed it in January. By February, March, that had gone, the minimum credit score that you needed to be approved was raised. So that meant we no longer qualify for conventional, and we had to do FHA. And we were like, oh man, obviously with FHA, you pay more. You have to pay that extra, the mortgage insurance on your loan every month. You have to pay more for closing costs because there's extra things that you need to put in different accounts. Like, I feel like you have to pay so much mortgage insurance up front beforehand or something like that, on top of whatever taxes you have to pay beforehand. I'm not a pro in this. I just know that for whatever reason, when you have an FHA, closing costs are more than if you would have a conventional loan. So already there, we were like, oh my gosh, okay, well, that was more that we wanted to spend a month on mortgage. We had the 20%. Like, we were pooling and pooling and pooling, and we had the 20% to put down so that we wouldn't have FHA. And here we are, because of this pandemic, we're now stuck with an FHA because our credit score is no longer good. Now it's fair. Okay, so we decided, well, we could save some money if we're stuck with FHA with this other, our mortgage broker that we got approved for conventional was like, I'm sorry, you no longer approve for FHA because of the circumstances. Or what did I just say? You no longer approve for conventional. You have to go with FHA because of the circumstances. Sorry, my mind right now. So we decided, all right, well, if we're going to have to do FHA anyways, we might as well get a $5,000 discount off closing costs. That'll help us out. And because everything is so like messed up in the world, maybe it'll be easier and less stressful to just have everything in-house so everyone can communicate and know what's going on, and we don't have to jump back and forth in between KB, the KB loan people wanting to know what's going on with our money, and then also our loan people that has no relation to KB. We figured everything would be all in-house, everything would be easy, maybe it would go faster because everyone will be communicating and we won't have to sit there and be like, hey, can you please, respond back to this? We really need this to go through right now. What's happening? Yada, yada, yada. All right, well, we decide, okay, fine. We'll go with you. Please give us information. And they had like no information. First of all, I was like, okay, well, I really didn't want to do an FHA because, interest rates and stuff, whatever. And the person was just so rude. She was like, but interest rates right now are like da 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 da. And I was like, okay, all right. Anyways, I asked a lot of questions and they were answered with lack of answers. Like, I would ask a question And then they would respond with some random response that had nothing to do with my question. My questions would never get answered. So at that point, it's just like, whatever, I can't deal with this. So just go, we'll give you what you need. Okay. Just let me know what you need from us. We'll get it to you, whatever. Just get it done, please. So then we're waiting and waiting and waiting. And we expected, okay, the loan process is going to take a while. The paperwork takes a while. Underwriting takes a while. Getting approval takes a while. We did have to, what is it? When you have the underwriting, you have to give them information. What's it called? I can't think of it, but you have to like send them your information for whatever questions they have that don't line up for your approval. Like, okay, what is this name, this nickname you go by that isn't your legal name? Why did you overdraft 5 months ago? And what are you going to do to prevent that from happening in the future? You know, just things like that. You know, it just all took a long time, and we would give them back what they needed, and then it would go a long time before we heard anything, and then we would have to reach out and say, hey, is there an update? Is there an update yet? And then like, oh, yeah, I'm working on it right now. It's like, what have you been doing all week? Should I have messaged you like a week ago so that you would remember us and get our stuff going? And I swear, we had to do that every single week. I would have to reach out an email, and sometimes there would be no response. So I would have my husband email, and then all of a sudden they would respond like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're working on that right now. We'll get started tomorrow, or something like that. So basically every week they weren't doing anything until we hounded them to get on it. And our home was done, and we were still waiting for this stuff. And like, just everyone was waiting. The title company was waiting. We were waiting. KB sales was waiting. But the loan people took forever. You would think that since they're working for KB, as KB, with KB, that they would be more like, we got to get this going, because they understand, right? It's not like some other person. This is like their business. So that was surprising. And then I thought that the person that we went with would be the person that we met with in the sales office. I'm pointing at because our sales office is literally like right there. I thought it would be the person in our sales office that we met with, called the loan originator, but the loan agent ended up being, or the loan processor ended up being someone that lived in like Las Vegas. So she wasn't even at the office, which that's what I was thinking. Like, okay, they're at the office, they can communicate. If someone isn't doing their job, someone's going to be like, hey, you need to get this finished because that's my sale and I need it to go through so I can get paid. I was thinking, okay, well, if that's what they're thinking, then that's what's going to happen. That wasn't the case. There was no communication. The person, the loan originator in this office, didn't even know who this person was. She just knew, okay, this is the person you need to talk to. And our sales agent had to be the one to tell the originator to contact this person to get information. So we're in California, close-ish to the Bay Area, okay? This person in Las Vegas, like, oh, I'm sorry. This was one response one time. I'm sorry, I've had many fires to put out this week. I'll get right on that tomorrow morning. Like, this is our home that we're trying to purchase. This isn't like a carpet cleaning, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, we are dependent on you. We're depending on you. We went with you because we trusted that you would be able to pull this off and get us our loan. So the fact that you're not even working right now for us was really frustrating, that we felt like we kept falling through the cracks. Now, when we ended up, I'm sorry, this is so long. There's just so much. Okay. When we ended up, okay, you get the disclosures and you read through and nothing makes sense, okay? I've had disclosures sent from the other brokerage, or at least like a quote. When we got pre-approval, we got all of the rundown of how much money we would need, for what, where it went to. It all made sense, okay? We had the total number, everything made sense because it was all itemized, listed out. When they sent us the disclosures, it didn't really make sense. There was a number and I was like, where did this number come from? Because here's my down payment. Here are the closing costs. Where's the other money? Like that doesn't make sense because where's it coming from? And I had asked, I was like, is that price going to go down at all? Because that's a little bit more than I was expecting. And the person didn't have an answer. So there was a price that was like total cash needed to close. And I was like, what the heck? Okay, well, that doesn't even make sense, but all right. So we were prepared for that price. And then when it came time to close the day before, they send us, okay, this is how much you need to bring with you tomorrow to sign. And then we'll get you your keys. We look at the price and it was a few grand more than was listed before. And we were like, we weren't prepared for that. Where did this price come from? What's the extra couple $1,000s? Where does these extra 1,000 come from? It was like $2,600 extra dollars. Okay. They couldn't explain. The woman said, well, some of the prices on there are like for the courier service fee, which you'll get refunded for because no one went to meet with you. You came to our office. So you'll get a little check for the refund for things like that. Our refund that we got was $429. So really, where is that extra 2,000 something dollars that we paid extra? No one could explain it to us. So that made me kind of irritated, but honestly, we were just ready to buy our house. We were ready to be done with it. If that's how much they said they needed, thankfully we had a couple extra in our bank that we had for our furniture and stuff. So we had it, thank God. But really not being prepared for how much you'll have to pay at the end for closing, even though they had to check your bank account to make sure you had that money before they gave you approval. They said you need this amount of money to close. And we showed them we have this amount of money to close. And then at closing, that number is more than what they said you needed, what they made sure that you needed. And like, that doesn't make sense what they approved you for needing. And then they give you a different number and they can't explain why. Like, in hindsight, we definitely should have fought it more. But honestly, it was just a very stressful time. I don't want to get emotional, but like my dad passed away very unexpectedly. We didn't know he had lung cancer. It turned out he had stage 4 cancer and he died within a week. He died on July 4th and we signed on like July 8th. So we were just done. We were done with coronavirus, with being out of work, with waiting for our home to be done. We were done. We weren't going to fight it. We paid it and then we were just ready to pick up the keys and move forward. But my goodness. And that's not the end of it, okay? So one, I felt like it was unprofessional. The whole experience. There was no communication. I really didn't know what to expect, even though I had to send an email and say, please tell me what to expect, a timeline of what to expect. Because right now you've thrown me so many curveballs and none of that, you never gave me a heads up for anything. We have a conversation and then the next minute you need something. Why don't you have it? But you never told me that you needed it and now you're hounding me for it. So I said, please send me a detailed list of a timeline and information, like give me a heads up on what to expect so that I know what should be followed so that when something isn't happening, I can let you know. And when something is needed from me, I can do that for you. Like I can be prepared for that. I never really got that. I got like okay, well, this will happen, and like a very vague sort of response. So yeah, I can't say I was happy with it at all. And because this person didn't know at all who she was working with on the other end, I feel like that may be the case everywhere with KB. Like they just have people that they outsource to do these things, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. But we I looked at closing costs. We paid for an expedited, I think it's called expedited, appraisal. And it ended up still taking a long period of time. So why did we pay out of pocket for an expedited appraisal to get things moving faster, where it was the woman's job to call the appraiser and say, hey, it's expedited. We need this information. Is it done? She never did that. Never. So it still took the length of a normal appraisal. Why did we have to pay extra for that? I don't know. No one can answer that. Okay, so then we close, pick up our keys. We signed, we picked up our key. When we went to go pick up our keys, my sales agent says, hey, I'm not going to be in tomorrow, but you can go ahead and pick up the key. Another salesperson's going to be there and he'll be able to give you the key. So I head over to pick up the key and the dude's like, did your paperwork go through? Did you finish signing and all that? And the money went through? I said, yeah. And I got a call yesterday saying I can come pick up my keys. And he was like, oh, no one ever tells me anything. And he was just like, he blew up and then he goes into the other building, comes out yelling on the phone at someone saying how no one ever tells him anything. I was like, man, nobody told him that I literally why I went with KB loan, so that everyone there knew what was going on. And it wasn't like communicating with people from far away who they're not all like in the same loop together. You would think that KB and KB would be in the know. It was an issue for me to even go pick up my keys after I had signed and paid the bank. It was just like, whoa, all right. And then we get our paperwork in the mail saying, congratulations, you'll get your mortgage documents soon. We get the mortgage documents from this company. I guess when you purchase with KB, you purchase a loan with KB, it's not really a loan with KB. They sell it off to a different company. So it went to this other company called Stearns. And then Stearns sent me like 30 different mailing documents, getting me ready, giving me information, yada, yada, yada. And then literally 5 days before my mortgage is due, I get another document from Stearns saying, hey, we just sold your loan document to this company. So here's their number. And after the 28th, stop making payments to us and start making payments to them. And this was our first mortgage payment. So obviously it was for your first mortgage payment, you're going to start paying them. On the first, or no, before the first, it must have been like it was the first or the day before the first. We call them up and we say, hey, our loan changed to you guys, but we don't have any information from you on how to pay our mortgage. So can we pay that now? And they're like, oh, we don't have you in the system. Maybe wait like until the 4th or so and give us a call back and maybe you'll be in the system then. And we're like, oh my gosh, well, are we going to have a fee for that? Like what's going to happen if we pay late? We don't have any information from you on how to pay. We're not even set up with you. Like what's going on? We had no idea what was going on. And now we're with this random company that they sold off last minute. So yes, if you get a loan with KB, it's not a KB loan. They're going to sell your loan to some other bank. And possibly you might not know who your bank is going to be until your first mortgage payment, and it might change 50,000 times before you even pay it. Who knows? I did read that this is kind of like a normal thing for if you go with a broker and they get you a loan, that your loan might be sold. So in the future, I have to expect that my loan could be sold to another company at any time. That's just the reality of going with that type of system. But I didn't know, I guess, that KB was more of a brokerage. Like when they say that I want to say I read that they were their own like bank lending services. So I don't understand why they sold the loan to someone else. So I'm not even sure if they have their own lending service. But our perk was $5,000 off closing costs. which didn't really seem like anything, to be honest. And if you have something else, like I've heard other KB places, it kind of depends where you are. They all offer different things. I just feel like right now they're selling houses left and right. So they have the upper hand. So you're not going to get like a good perk, like a really great perk, but $5,000 off closing costs is nice. It's just, I feel like with the unexpected closing costs at the end, the extra money at the end, it doesn't really feel like I had $5,000 off, you know? So, kid time. So that is my story. Do I wish I would have gone with my brokerage? Yes, completely. They were professional. They had great communication. Everyone was in touch. You knew it because when you had an email, everyone would be copied on the email. Everyone would be talking back and forth like they knew each other. And it seemed like they had all of their gears grinding together in sync. And it just felt like, this is amazing. We were just a little worried that things were getting a little bit more expensive. You know, they were costing a little more than we had originally expected because of the last minute changes to an FHA, more closing costs, things like that. We were just a little worried. So we decided, all right, $5,000 off, maybe our best bet. And, you know, was it worth it? I don't think so. Can I say that I'm happy with the loan that I have right now? No, because I never wanted an FHA and we're hoping to refinance ASAP. I will say that my mortgage broker said you don't qualify for conventional anymore. You have FHA, but in about 6 months or so, you can refinance for a conventional and not have to pay any closing costs. And I'm really, really punching myself in the thigh right now because that would be amazing. I never even thought about if I go with KB, I'll have to pay closing costs when we do refinance, which is as soon as our credit is good enough, we'll be able to do that, which is hopefully within the year. But then we're going to have that extra money to pay to refinance it. So it's a bummer. It's a bummer all around. I feel like you would have better perks, maybe not monetary, like straightforward, here's $5,000 off. But I feel like you would have more rewards going with someone that you chose and you picked out and you have a good relationship with rather than just going with KB because it seems easier and it seems like a good deal. I don't feel like it's a good deal. I don't. And I don't recommend them. So I would say find someone that you feel you can have a good working relationship with and communication. And yeah, I think you'll be happier and you'll be better off with that. Yeah, because especially if you go with a mortgage broker somewhere local, like my husband met with this woman who was going to be doing it, and she sent like a welcome. What was it? It was like, I think it was a keychain. No, it was a car charger with their company name on it. They just had excellent customer service. They had excellent communication. We knew where she was. So if we needed to go into the office for anything, they were right there. They all were working together. And yeah, I forgot what I was saying because my mind right now is bonkers. But in the future, oh, okay, this is what I wanted to say. With that company, you can go on Facebook and look up that person that you're talking to, that company that you're talking to, and get real reviews, okay? Real reviews. You can see what people liked, what they did well, what they helped them with. I could not find any information on anything about KB loans other than like employee reviews for working for the company. I never saw any reviews on the loan, which is really kind of fishy to me. Why wouldn't they have reviews about their service? Why aren't people reviewing them? It doesn't make sense to me. Especially if you have a negative experience, wouldn't you want to voice your opinion on it? That's my opinion. That's what I want. That's why I'm doing this right now, is because there was no information out there for me. And so if I can help someone with my story make a better decision, then that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, that's my story. If you have any other questions, you can go ahead and comment them below, and I'll try to get back to you guys as I can. But again, I am a mom of 3 boys, and I'm distance learning right now. They are distance learning, and I am distance teaching them, and it's chaotic. So if I don't respond right away, I apologize. And if my videos are kind of crazy, I'm still moving, and I'm doing this on my computer, and I can't find my camera charger to use my camera. So I apologize for the quality. That's all. Have a good day, guys.